Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to Outlook Tips and Tricks. My name is Coulter Lewis, and I will be walking us through some Outlook uh, things that maybe we don't often use and things that we might have not seen before, just to simplify our inbox and help for being a little bit more productive and seamless in using our Microsoft tools. So, before we get started, just a friendly reminder, we're recording this workshop, so you can always pause it and go at your own pace. If you want to try something out, feel free to just to give us a quick pause and then start us up again. But for today, I'm working with the wonderful Katie, and Katie's calling in today from Montana, Big Fork, Montana, which sounds awesome. So Katie, maybe you can just explain your role in education and give us a little hello.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it. I'm excited to be here. Yes, I am in Big Fork, Montana. And over the past 12 years, I've worked in education, being a teacher, supporting teachers using technology. And now I'm so grateful to be here with all of you, helping provide support through different technology tools as well. So I will be here kind of hanging out in the background. We have an amazing presenter here, and I will be kind of just checking in and putting links and stuff in the chat.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Katie. Again, my name is Coulter Lewis. I'm calling in from Toronto, Ontario on Treaty 13. And my role in education is a technology integration specialist. I'm currently working in a school here in Toronto, and I teach grades 7 and 8 science, and I do some of the coding and robotics programs here. So before we begin, I'd just like to do a quick land acknowledgement, recognizing that I'm currently settled on lands on Treaty 13. I think it's very important that we recognize these lands and pay tribute to them. And I hope that I'm doing it justice living here, and it's a privilege to learn from various elders and knowledge keepers on how to take care of the lands for future generations. I encourage you to check out native-land.ca to learn a little bit more about what land you're on and to inform yourself and your students as well. Big shout out to the Cobblestone Collective. They really support educators and helping everybody out in technology and moving forward with different sort of tools and items in anyone's education journey, from students to teachers. So thanks so much to the Cobblestone Collective for supporting us. I know Katie and I find it a privilege to work with them as such a big group of educators supporting one another. So thank you. And we have our plan today. So I have my part 1 and part 2. I've just broken that up because there's a bunch, right? There's a bunch there. So I just wanted to break it up for you. We're going to spend about 3 or 4 minutes on each one, just to make sure that you know where it is. We're going to show you, and maybe I'll give Katie and I will jump in and tell you how we're using it in our daily plan or our daily work life, and just going to hopefully highlight some things that maybe you didn't know that you could do in Outlook. So, visual emails. Let's begin. I'm going to open up my emails, and I'm going to get out this PowerPoint, and here we go. So, this is my Outlook. Mine might look a little bit different than yours because I'm on a PC. Maybe you're using a different device. Maybe you got a Mac. Maybe you're on the web version. You can often find very similar things across PowerPoint. So you should be able to, not PowerPoint, across Outlook. So you should be able to locate these things, always using the search bar. I was going to talk about that, but you're just going to see me in action using the search bar today. But our first thing was scheduling emails. So on my screen, you can see in the top left here, we have a new email item. And this is actually something that we talk about a little bit later about having one window for all. That's the beginning of part 2, but I'm going to select my new email here. And this is where I can just title it. And it's nice that it already shows it where it's coming from. I have a couple different emails attached to this Outlook account, so I can change those. And I'm just going to send it to my Gmail account here. Oops, wrong one. I'm going to send it there. Okay. And my subject line might be just test. Actually, we'll go scheduling and email. Okay. And what I'm going to do is, it's really simple, but sometimes people don't know that they can do this. And I personally like it because even today I set something up in my classroom where I scheduled something to pop up on their screen, and it just worked out like that. And all the kids were so confused because my computer screen was closed, and they all got the same thing as soon as they said, now you may begin, and the email appeared. So what I can do here is I'm just going to go into my And scheduling an email. How am I missing this already? As the first thing, this is my first. Now, that's the thing. If we can't find it right away, we use the search bar. So I can go type in schedule, and it's called delayed delivery on my bar. So this is something that it might be different for everybody. So it's nice that it popped up. I go delayed delivery, and now it shows me when I want to send it. So again, it might look different on your screen, and it might be even titled something different. Scheduling email, delayed delivery. Now I can send it do not deliver before this time, and then it can expire. I can have an expire part as well, and I can also save a copy of the sent message. So again, I found it using my search function. It might be something a little bit different for you. In the PowerPoint here that I've shared, I believe it's found in your options, delayed delivery. There we go.
I just want to give a shout out to scheduling emails because I love this feature. I use this feature all the time because so often I kind of maybe think about something and it's after hours and I want to send an email to someone, but I don't really want it to go at that maybe after hours time. Maybe it's late in the evening. And this delayed delivery or scheduling your email is great because then you can just say when you want it to go, maybe during work hours, things like that. Because I have, things that pop up in my brain at weird hours. So sometimes I'll write a quick email, but I'll do that delayed delivery to send it the next day. So just a quick shout out about how powerful even just this first option is.
Yeah, I totally agree. And for me being a bit more of a night hawk, I don't want people knowing that I'm working away at 2 a.m. or accessible at 2 a.m. And I would rather them think, oh, he gets up at 6 a.m. to send an email to me. That's really, really impressive.
Exactly. I feel the same way.
So now we have there, since we already have an email open here, I'm going to start typing, and we're going to talk about the next two things here. And this is our dictation and our read aloud. So I do have an option for dictation. In my three dots here on the top right, I'm going to select the dictate function. And now I can just start talking, and it should start typing for me. So it's a nice accessible feature to sort out my email for me. And yeah, it doesn't stop, so it keeps going until I press that sort of microphone button at the bottom. You can see, though, there is a downside that there is no punctuation. So I do have to say that I want to put a period here, period. There we go. So now we can start again, and we can continue dictating my email. So it's a really nice accessible feature. And it's really simple to find. Again, top right, my three dots, dictate. Now I do have to go back and edit this. Now the best thing for me when I like to edit, I like to listen to it being produced. So when I click on this, I highlight and I select read aloud and insert. And I select my read aloud function so it'll read back to me. Now again, if we can't find that read aloud function, we type in read aloud and we click on play.
I love that as it's reading, it highlights. So that is awesome.
There we go. So I agree. It's great that it highlights, and it's great that it runs through this whole sort of event and really allows me to follow along and edit my work. I think it's a great feature for students. You can see that, however, it does not highlight that inaccessible, that spelling error there, right? So what I can do is I can find my spelling. I can also highlight this, and I can just go in and select my spelling and grammar and decide on spelling and grammar. And now I can sort this one out. So it's a really nice way to dictate and then use these other accessible features to help find my errors and my edits. Okay, moving along. That was dictation and read aloud. Again, these two things have happened when I've opened up a new mail. Now, if I have a mail that I've been sent, for example, this one, I just sent this one earlier today to demonstrate something we're going to work on. I can sit here and I can see that this is just wanting to showcase a rule that might work. So we'll talk about rules in a little bit, but if I highlight this, I'm going to want to have it read aloud to me. I'm going to select on, I'm going to select the email here, and then I can actually find it in, I believe, my view function, And I have Immersive Reader, which is a little bit different than Read Aloud. It's a lot more accessible. So I can click on Immersive Reader, and it'll break this down for me. Okay, and I'm able to have this read back to me as well. And then I can click on Read Aloud. Okay, so I can have an email read to me, or I can have the email that I'm drafting read back to me as well. So again, that's just found in Immersive Reader here under the View function. And then I select Immersive Reader, up comes Read Aloud. Now, there are other things within this Immersive Reader feature. I have my line focus. Focus it on one line. Maybe it's something like my Microsoft Store, where there's a lot going on right here. So I can just highlight something. Oops, it's on that link. Out of there. There we go. Where I can highlight this. Oh my gosh, it keeps selecting it. What am I doing, Katie? Let's try another one. Let's go Komodo. There we go, because I was working with Komodo the other day. So I can do this, talking about fresh crabs. Sounds great. I select Immersive Reader, and then I can do this line focus again. And there's that one line. I can change my background color for my Microlane colors if you have any visual difficulties. I can do a column width. And then I have some styles that I can use as well. Sorry, syllables, not styles. Sorry, syllables. Okay, and then again, there's that Read Aloud. That's Immersive Reader, Read Aloud, Dictate. They all kind of work together using that accessibility feature. Okay, moving along. This one is a little bit different. This one is talking about what we're going to talk about now is sharing to Teams and OneNote. So it's a little bit different because I'm using something like Teams. So we're in a Teams call right now. Say I open up my chats here on the left-hand side. I could have my chat right here. And what I want, maybe I want to export this as an email. Maybe it's a really long chat that I have that I've been building with, and I just want to make sure that it gets sent to an email and that I know where it is. I can just right-click this, and then you should be able to send this off. Now, this is a different account that I'm in right now. So I have pictures of this in our slide deck, so it might not actually function here for us, but you should be able to highlight it and then send it as an email, send it right directly to Outlook. Katie, I know on yours, because I was working with it last night, I know the account that you're signed in, because I was in that account. I know that you can do it on yours, and I actually believe I even sent myself an email with that. And I didn't, but I took a picture of it, so it shows that it works. But it's just my, again, specific accounts, different rights. Everyone has something a little bit different. So this one was
yep, I do have it, and it looks exactly like that when you right click, just like your image. And it's right for me, it's kind of like, in kind of the middle of the options, and it just says share to Outlook, and it works perfectly.
Yeah, exactly. So this is what it looks like. It's just a right click, and I think it's just because I have the account that I'm signed in for doesn't connect to my Outlook, actually, because I don't think I'm in a Microsoft account, actually. So that's really simple, seamless process just to send this and share it right to Outlook. Up pops an email for you, and there it is. It's fully attached. So it's really nice and simple to just send messages that you have in Teams to other individuals that might not be a part of your team. And then we have something with OneNote. So OneNote is a great tool. I don't know if anyone's used it out there, but it's a really powerful tool that functions as almost like a digital binder. And I'm able to communicate to that OneNote. Oops, we're going to go on here. I'm able to communicate to that OneNote. Right now, I'm going to show you using the web version. So here's that email that I have. And what I can do is I can select OneNote here at the top. It's my OneNote feed. You can see here I've got my OneNote feed, and I can add to this. So I actually have OneNote connected. So I want to click on that. It actually opens up my OneNote. And this is a math lesson that I'm working on, and I've just got some screenshots in there. And it's just a really nice, easy way to have my OneNote connected in my mail. If I need to bring something over or connect it, I can easily do that. I can also filter some things if I want to show some OneNote pages, if I need to show some sticky notes. I also have connected to this a OneNote. Just want to show this as an example. You can see I was working on that today, and how I can insert a page. So I can add a note to my Outlook here. So this one might be just checking to make sure that I have covered everything today. There's just a little note. Maybe we can add an image here if we want. I can grab an image. I could also do just some basic accessibility things as well. So really nice and simple way to add into my OneNote or into my notes here using my Outlook feature. So again, that's just at the top of my, and again, I'm using the browser-based version. Just at the top there, using the browser-based, and just a nice little feature that OneNote has inside of your Outlook. So just connecting everything together. Katie, do you use OneNote at all? This is I'm going to do a OneNote plug. So.
You know, I do. I am always looking for new tips and tricks. So I love that one that you just shared. I had never done that before, so I'm going to have to try that one. And while I'm on here, I just wanted to give a shout out. We have a couple of people who have joined us. So welcome everybody. We're so excited to have you here live with us. So let us know if you need anything in the chat.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't. Oh, perfect. Stephen, Wendy, Cindy. Great to see Wendy again and Cindy. Thanks for joining us. And please feel free to unmute your microphone. Let us know if you have any questions. We're here to help. It's a nice intimate group right now. So please let me know if you have something that you'd like me to go over a little bit more or slow something down. Happy to help. So here inside of my Outlook, so we're moving on. Feel free to take a look and follow along with the little schedule that I've posted in the PowerPoint that I've shared with everyone. But right now we're just going to look at maybe tidying up our inbox here, just making it nice and simple. I'm going to select view, and what I can do here, this is something a bit of a newer feature. I'm going to use tighter spacing. You can see tighter spacing on the left-hand side, and it's not much, but it's just a nice way that I can now add just add just one or two things. It doesn't actually show like it's doing too much, but I can also organize all these things like this. So it's just a nice little use of the tighter spacing feature found in the view in my inbox. I like also the fact that I can collapse these as well. So yeah, that's our tighter spacing view. The next one I'm going to actually show on the Google or on our PowerPoint as well, because it talks about a poll and adding a poll. Now, what I can do in my particular account here is I can go in and I can click on one. I want to set up a new message. So I'm going to cancel this one. No, I don't want to save it. So I'm just going to go on to a new message, a new email, and I'm going to select a quick poll. Now, to do that, it's going to look a little bit different on everyone's part. My poll is actually not really even a poll at all. It's a voting button. So I can select a voting button, and I can do an approve, reject, yes or no, maybe. I can select that, and then it even says I've added a voting button to this message. So it's highlighted that. Now, with this one, when I send it off, I'll be able to highlight this poll or whatever it's going to be, whatever I want to say. But I can also change the voting buttons too. So I can customize it. So I can come in here and I can customize this. I've gone to my properties and I've got a different one here, and I can always request a receipt delivery. That you can see that's right there. It's kind of an interesting location for that. But voting and tracking options, and then I can select on using these or editing these if I like. Okay. Now, for some individuals out there with a different device, you might have the quick poll here found in your insert poll option. And you can actually insert a poll that you can answer and place them down. So this is a really nice feature, and it's a little bit more visually appealing when you're trying to set it up, where mine is a bit more abstract, where it's like I'm just adding in this simple reject or accept sort of poll, where yours might be something like this. So again, working on different devices might have options, and they're not available across everything, but you might still be able to find some new message. I'm not sure that they're available in the browser-based version. No, I don't think they are.
I do want to give a shout out to what you were showing in your slide deck about how not only can it be more interactive poll, but you can also view the results, which I absolutely think can be super helpful as well. So if you haven't checked out the quick poll, I would definitely do that. I think that can be very helpful.
Yeah, agreed. Now, it's so much more convenient when you can do that directly in your mail. If you really wanted to, your workaround, if you wanted to insert a quick poll with results, you can always go to your forums feature in your Outlook up there, and you can select your forum. There, and you can drop a form in here. So there is some nice other workarounds, but I think I really do value this one right here, where you're able to put it in and just ask those simple things to get those answers that you might need, as opposed to getting a bunch of threads on an email saying, yes, I want pepperoni, or no, I don't want whatever, right? So just a nice little simple thing to add into your repertoire. Okay. The next thing I want to show you, since we're already on the slides, we'll do one more because I don't have access to this one as well, but it is available for you, is disallowing meeting forwarding. So you're able to actually set up a meeting, and I'll show you how to set up a meeting, but you should be able to have a response option under the meeting tab there at the top. So right underneath the meeting tab here, you should be able to have a response option that doesn't allow forwarding. Now, it all depends on if you want to have that. It's just a privacy feature. So you do have some other options for this type of feature, and I just think or for the meeting features, and I just think it's a really nice way to make sure that it's a secure meeting, and that you're maybe something that you're unfamiliar with. So that there. Yeah, see, I don't even have an option for that under my meetings. Yeah, it's not even there. Not even there. So, but most other parts, you should be able to see that. Hopefully you're able to see that, and hopefully you're able to use that function if you don't have the restrictions that I do on my current device. So, any questions so far? Okay, I feel like I'm moving a little quick, but
no, it's going great. No questions, but I love these. These are really great, helpful tips and tricks to kind of just hit with us. We're just, following along. I love that you're giving us, some live demos, and then your slide deck is also very, very helpful.
Awesome. Okay, next one, screenshots. I like this one a lot, actually. So what I can do is when I create a new mail, I can quickly add in a screenshot. So again, if it's not here right away, you can always click on your three dots, but you might need to check out your tabs at the top. So this is sometimes where we get a little lost, where we have different tabs. When I've created a new mail, I've got these tabs at the top that I can always insert some things. Okay, so I'm going to want to insert, well, I want to insert something. Obviously, I want to insert a screenshot. So I can look in here and I can click on those three dots, and I have tons of these options. And we'll talk about a few more in just a minute. But here's my screenshots, and it'll actually open up all the available windows. I can also click on the screen clipping if I want to set that up myself. But let's, for example, choose, we'll just choose this one, my PowerPoint. And there it is, already in there, which is awesome. And then I can edit this real quick, narrow it down, make it a little bit smaller. And then I have these options here to bring the layout. My layout already automatically pops up. So it's a really
I love how quick that is. That is so nice.
Quick, right? It's so nice. Mm-hmm. It's so quick. This is a great feature. It's really nice and just kind of simplifies everything for us. So the nice thing was that screenshotted that particular one. But if I have another window that's open, let's just type in here. Let's go to World Cup standings, because that's a top hit for me right now. And maybe with one of the drafts that we're having in my class, or we're doing the brackets and we're following along in my class. So maybe I want to insert some of these things, and I'm going to just quickly have that there. I'll go back to my mail, and I'm going to click on screenshot. Oops, insert screenshot, and there it is. So again, really quick, really seamless, and just a nice way to make things a lot easier for us. Okay, so that's screenshots. And again, it's just a nice way. And I think when I found out about this, it's like, oh my gosh, that's so simple. It's so simple. However, there is, again, different functions, different computers. I do know that on another device I have, you do have to have it's selected specific only to one window. So sometimes it is specific to a window that you do select, so it's an extra step. But for the most part, it's pretty seamless. pretty awesome. Okay, well, 27, and we are moving on to part 2 of our plan today, which is good. We're on time. And part 2 begins with a one window for all type title. So one window for all, what that just means is that it's really nice and simple that we can now click on this top part here, new email. And if I click on that bar that drops down, I get a bunch of different options. This is where I can set up a quick meeting if I want. I can use email messaging how I want to set it up. I've got some more items. There's an internet fax, which was news to me. So it's a new thing, but it's an internet fax. So if we need to send a fax over, I haven't even played around with this. I saw fax and thought, still using this. So it's awesome. Again, I'm not too sure what to do with that, but one window for all here. We just click on this and we have all of our options right away for sending out information or new email. I can click on the meeting and it pops a new meeting link. And then when I do this, I can actually open up some different things. So let's just do a title. Let's just go Teams meeting here. Grade 7 science. Okay. And then what I can do is click on required. And we'll talk about this this list that I already have here created. I'm going to double tap that and put it in. And then I have some different options, individuals that I want to add there. But I can make this a recurring meeting. I got my location. And actually what I want to show is, maybe it's not in this one, but I can hook it up with my personal Gmail account. And I can see here that I got some suggested times on the bottom right. It's really convenient. And then it's even nice that we're working across platforms. I have a Google meeting. There's my Google meeting. There's my Teams meeting. It's nice that they're including these different types of things. There's an online meeting that's something a little bit different, but it's nice that we're able to just choose one that works best for us because not everyone is able to access Teams or not everyone is able to access Google Meet. So it's nice that we're able to include these types of meetings inside of our Outlooks. Again, very seamless. And there's my suggested times, which is nice. So it connected to my Gmail, and then it suggested a time that we should do. So that is our one window for all. One thing that I would also like to show, and you saw when I typed in my name and I started to type something in, well, that one popped up really easy, but what I can do is when I click on these things, I've created a little group, right? You can see that I've created an attendees group. And what I can actually do is, I believe I've even titled one under Coulter's. I've got all my emails there. So I put in like 5 of my different emails, my Yahoo, my Hotmail, my Outlook, my personal work one. So I put a bunch in there just to show you today, and it's under Coulter's. You see all my emails. But I thought this was a really nice way just to make a simple mailing list. So I'll show you how I did that. I don't want to save changes. So I want to create a simple mailing list. I can go in here and I can do a contact. So I select contact. And so this one was just my first one. Which one haven't I used yet? See, Lewis at HUD. So this one. There we go. Oh, that's my name. I'm going to put that as my email. So, and this one's going to be C. Lewis speaking. I'm running out of names. And then I can just add this. So I'm just going to save and close. So now I've got a contact there. And what I can do is I can start building this contact list. So it's a nice, easy way that I'm able to build out a contact list by creating a group. So I can type in group. And that's the work mailing list. See what comes up there. That didn't come up. Let me get back to this. So I should be able to create a little, I did this the other day, obviously you saw all my list, but I'm stuck to finding out where it is. Changes, no. Let's go to contact group. There it is. I knew it was around contact group. So I click on contact group, and this is where I can start adding some members. So I can click on add member here, and I can do it from my address book. And this is where I have all of my members here. So let's just go for this one. I double tap, and when I double click, it starts to add it in. I click OK, and then I can name this. So this is going to be Coulter's 1. And then I hit save and close. And now I've created a contact group. Now when I do a new email, I just type in 2 Coulter's 1, and there it is. And it sends to those emails. So it's a really simple and simplified way to just create a contact group. So again, what I did, I'll slow it down and I'll show you one more time. What I did was I clicked on contact and I created a new contact. So this is where it does take some time to create these contacts. But once it's in there, it's so seamless and so easy to use. It saves so much more time. I can give you an example. I'm using, I've got a bunch of parents that I have to BCC to actually, and I'm able to just put their contacts in here. And then when I create that new mail, I just put Robotics Club parents emails, and I put that in the BCC line, and it's really simple, as opposed to copying it over all the time or just, again, I'm just trying to highlight how simplified it is once I add the contacts. So once I do that and I create it, I go more item and I do a contact group. Once I click the contact group, I can click my add members, and I can go from Outlook contacts, or I can choose from address book. Same for me. And then I just double tap them, which ones I want in there. I click OK. And I have a name here, and I just title this the name, whatever I want to name that contact group. Mailing list 1. Hit and close, and there we go. And now when I want to create a new mail, I go to, or if I want to BCC it or just carbon copy it, I can always just type in mailing list 1.
I love contact groups. It's such a time saver once they're built, so you don't have to go through and find everybody and add them, because you can just use your groups that you've created. So super helpful tip. And if you've never done it, I highly suggest you start creating those groups.
Yeah, highly recommended. Definitely. Okay. Any questions? How are we doing over there?
We're doing great. No questions. We are hanging in there with you, and hopefully everyone's practicing kind of finding all these different parts. But if you are having any problems, let us know. We are happy to help or go over anything again if you need it.
Perfect. Okay, the next one. This one I've actually just started playing around with a lot, and I'm not amazing at it yet, but I think it's something that I should show you and that you can have a practice with, because I think it's super powerful, because I often am writing similar lines, similar phrasing, or like, thank you so much for the email, or great to hear from you, or thanks for the communication, those types of things. So the next part I'm going to show you is called two-part templates. So what I've done is I've actually pinned it to my top here. So I can insert a perform text or an auto text to basically just make it a reusable type comment. So when I click on this, you can see that that's one thing that I have there already. So I've got thanks for your email. So it's a really simple, pop that in there. I can also auto text something. So these are some other auto texts that I have. But I can also look to create and customize these things. So, oh, that's a quick print. That's not, what did I do? That's not what I want. No, I don't want to print. Oops. So that's what quick print, quick parts. You can understand what I've done there. That's okay. I just hope it doesn't slow anything down here. But my quick parts is, again, it's a really simple, nice way that I can add some things here, and I can add in some content to make it really simple. Again, thank you. Thanks for your email. And I just open that up and I click it, and in it goes. So creating that automated type text and just simplified it so it's in my emails, and I can just go boom, boom, and it's 3 clicks as opposed to 50 characters if it's the same thing. So that's just something I'd like to highlight. If you can't find it in your ribbon, feel free to use that search function at the top. Type in quick parts, explore quick parts, and there's some auto text, and you should be able to create some other ones. And create, again, you can add it at the beginning of the document, you can add it at the end. I can edit the properties here, so I can create new ones. Right now, that's where it is, and the description. So I can edit these sort of things. So it's a really nice way to just, again, simplify our emails. And for me, this was relatively new. I did not know that this was in here until I was doing some research a few weeks ago, and this popped up. I said, oh, that's amazing. From what I've been told as well is that it should, I know some of our parts we're able to auto highlight. So when you start typing in that word, sometimes in some documents that we're working on, like a Word document sometimes, or an auto text on our phone, you can start typing in that word, and it automated gets the rest of that up there for us. I have yet to figure that one out, but maybe you're out there and you're like, oh, I know how to do this one. Or maybe it's just my device and what my settings are. So feel free to continue to play around with this. I think it's such a great tool, and it's something that I didn't know about, and I'm just happy to share that my knowledge there with that.
Yeah, that could be such a time saver if you have some standard ones that you use regularly. So I love that. I'm definitely going to go play around and try that and build some fun templates now.
Awesome. So the next one, we're talking about viewing the messages the way that you'd like to view. So I'm going to start by showing you the template on my PowerPoint. Viewing the messages. So viewing your messages specifically for you, you can set up different ways that you view messages. So if you have unread messages in blue or in green instead of bold, you can have emails that contain specific words or highlighted in a color. So you can do some of these advanced settings on your emails. So you can go advanced settings and so I'm going to try to show this, but again, I feel like I'm missing some settings on my particular device. Let me get rid of some of these windows. Go. So I think we're able to highlight different ways that we view our messages. Again, using our viewing settings inside of our messages, and then we're going to go to conditional formatting. So I've been playing around with this one, and let's see here. So I'm going to go into my settings. Yeah, see, I'm unfortunate. I don't think I have these options that it looks like that. So let me double check. Project ribbon, home, and yeah, unfortunately, I don't believe that I have these viewing settings. That's got on my, again, different devices, different platforms. So it's going to look a little bit different for everyone. But what basically it's showing is that you can highlight, and I know we talked about this in the previous session, yesterday's session, where you can highlight and flag your items, and you can also color code your items into different categories. So essentially, that's what it's going to be doing. So if you have an unread message, it might be colored in blue. So we can categorize blue for unread messages. So I'm going to click on yes. And well, that's categorize that particular one. So I think current view settings, there it is, found it. Okay, conditional format. Oh, perfect. I almost panicked. Oh, I was panicking there. So now I can actually see that I have this conditional formatting here where I have unread messages, group headers. So I can add these in and sort of set up a little bit of a rule for these. So if I have an unread message, maybe I have an unread group headers. Let's just use the unread message here. I'm going to add this unread message. That's going to be the deleted one. So now I can actually change these things. So now I have that as my font. I can change my font, something to be a little bit different if I want. I can have my effects. So maybe I want an unread message to look like this. I'm going to change that, and I'm going to change it back. But for right now, there it is. So pretty cool, right? It's a nice little way that I can set up some unread messages. So again, that was in view under current view, under view settings. So it took a little bit to get there for me. I hope you're able to find that as well. Under view tab, view setting, or current view settings, and then under conditional formatting.
I love that because you can really like make your inbox like stand out. So maybe you even want to just really get specific with certain types of emails. I love that and that customization feature.
Well, to be honest with you, I kind of like this already, so I don't think I'm going to change it for now.
Yeah, it really pops. So you're like, hey, I need to go read those.
I need to check this. Well, this one's about the Black Friday Toronto Symphony, so I think I can avoid that. But it's still, I think it's a, I think it's a nice, simple way that we can highlight what we're looking at. So hopefully that's something new to you. Maybe you can play around with it yourself. You can highlight things yourself and set up your own sort of properties or formatting in any way that you'd like. Submitted but not sent, for example. Yeah, I love it. I love that they give you these options. And then you can create a little rule. And we'll talk about rules in just a second. That's going to be one of the last things that we do. But for now, we're going to talk about sharing a calendar. So I'm going to go back to my home here. And I'm going to go into my calendar on the left-hand side. So you can see here I have a calendar. And so my calendar is built inside of my Outlook. It's also found, I can find it in Teams. It syncs with a lot of my other programs in Microsoft. So it's really a nice way that's simplified. And we have different views here. We can do the day view. We can do the week, the work week, the month. So we can do all these kind of stuff. And we can even do the timed view. So, but with these ones particularly, it's about how I can share these things. So it's a simple, quick share. It's not that super challenging. I'm going to share this calendar, and up comes some permissions, and I can go through some of the calendar properties here. But it's just a nice, simple one that I'm going to add, and I can see in my address book who I want to share it with. So I'm going to click on. There we go. I'm going to share that. Calendar can be shared with one or more people if you add it. Probably because I just shared it with myself. So again, I'm going to just click on share. I can do this one. This is my school one, so it's going to have more restrictions. So let me try it one more time. Calendar. And I'm going to click on OK. That didn't work. Try it one more time. Add. There we go. And I'm going to add myself. There we go. There we go. So now I've shared it with my personal Gmail account. And so just again, it's a simple way to share ideas, share your schedule with people, your colleagues maybe. Right now, I know at my school we have sporting events that we share each other things with. So we have to share our calendar for our school gym, who's rented out the gym. We have our personal events that we do on a bi-weekly basis that we have here, and where we're going to go for after work dinner or drinks and see where we're heading for that sort of social event we have in our community. So it's really nice that we share those calendars. So it's just a nice, simple way that sometimes individuals don't realize that they can share the calendar. So I think it's important that you know how to do that and that it's linked into your Outlook account. I think that's really all that I wanted to spend time on for our calendar. If you have any questions about that, feel free to let us know. But that's really all that I wanted to kind of show with our calendars. Okay, looking at our schedule. We're moving along. All right. This last 3 that I have here is the to-do list. So we have a to-do list here on the left-hand side. My left-hand side panel here has a few of these icons. And you can see I've got tasks and I've got to-do. So if I actually click on to-do inside of my Outlook, it takes me to a to-do list here, and I can add different tasks. So there is a little bit of a difference between these. The tasks are flagged, and I can add these and arrange them, and I can create a new task. This one might be set up coverage, recess, duty. Okay, so that might just be a task, or however you want to set that up. I can make that as a high priority, and then I can always change the status once I do this. But now I'm just going to save it. And close. And here it is. Now I've got that listed here. I've got 0% complete. I can click on this to make sure that it is completed. or I can right click and I can see when I need to set it up. So I know I just clicked on it and it disappeared because it was completed and I didn't mean to do that, but that's okay. You can see that I've got to collect money and now I can set this up and I can even add a reminder to myself. Those are my tasks. Now, there's a difference between tasks and to do. So I'm going to click on the to do, and here I can add a task inside of my to-do list. So you can see I've got the parent-teacher meetings happening today. I can add another task, and this one might just be nice practice. Okay, I'm going to click on this, and now I can add this task in. So when I click on this, I can always add in some of these options here. I can add a due date. I can repeat this. I can even add a category if you want to add a category to this. I can even add a file. Maybe I've got a spreadsheet of who's playing where and where they want to play, and you can see that I'm a soccer fan. But just different ways that we can add tasks into this. I can also add a new list over here. This one might be sports. Okay, and in my sports list, these are just different types of ways that we can add these these different groups. So now I can create a group inside of this. And it's not working for me, but essentially what I'm trying to do is just adding a list of things to do, and I should be able to create a group, but it's not letting me. Okay, that's okay. It's not super important. It's just a nice way that I can add new lists to my tasks. So we can also see my completed lists that have happened. I can also favorite this, mark it as important, and I can also select it. And I don't know if you heard that little ding, but it gave a nice little indicator that it was completed. So tasks are a little bit different, but it's really nice to have inside of my Outlook because my Outlook for me, for example, it's open on my desktop every day because I'm through it every day. I got emails coming in from parents and colleagues, so it's a constant thing that I'm looking at. And if I want to add in some of these tasks and some of these reminders, it's there for me to see constantly and to use. So I think it's really nice that we can set this up. It just simplifies some of our day and some of our scheduling.
I love this. It will help me stop losing the Post-its that I write everything on with my quick to-do list. So yes, right. I have them all over, but I lose them. And so this will be my new tool. Instead of losing my Post-its, I'm going to come in here and start using this.
I use them both because I use Post-its, and I have a different system with Planner. I use Microsoft Planner a lot.
Ooh,
so
okay.
That's a nice thing. It's not necessarily integrated with Outlook, but it's a similar type thing that works very similar to what I'm showing you here. It's just not inside of Outlook. So
okay, awesome.
And so sometimes though, nothing beats a good old classic Post-it, right?
It's true. It's very true.
Okay. Last two things I want to talk about. The last one is going to be the search function, but we've been using it the whole time, so I feel like we're getting pretty comfortable seeing me use it. But the last one I want to talk about is creating and managing rules. So what I can do here is I'm going to look for a rule, and that's searching my function here. I don't want to do that. I want to search for rules. There it is. And I want to create a rule. So all I've done is I've gone into my search bar because you can find rules in different spots. So I'm just going to use the search bar today, and I'm going to go create a rule. What just happened? Maybe I can do it in a create rule. Got a ruler, but I don't know what rule. Well, that's kind of a cool feature. Now you know you have a ruler in there. And since I'm already here, I might as well show you that you can draw in here as well if you have a touch screen. So this is kind of a nice thing. Since I'm here, we have my ruler. If I need to do something like this, who knows? How far does Mr. Lewis walk in centimeters? Sorry, I just got a little sidetracked there, but I think it's a cool thing. If you have the option to do this, I think it's a nice little way to enhance your emails, and just an option that you might not know was there. But I digress, and I want to show our rules. Let's do it. Rules. Create a rule. There we go. Okay, I don't know why I didn't pop up the first time. Okay, so what I want to do when I create a rule is I can select different things and different where I want it to go. So when I get an email with the selected condition, so I have to add a condition. So this one says demonstrate rules because that's what I have here. So whenever something says demonstrate rules, or maybe I just want it to say rules, or you can see that I've got a bunch of Toronto Symphony Orchestra there, right? So let's see, I'm going to go Toronto. Okay, so now let's see here. When I get this, the subject contains this. Whenever it contains this, I want it to go into a folder. So I'm going to select the folder. And I just created this one earlier, but I can always edit or get a new one. I'm going to click new, and this one is going to be TSO, for Toronto Symphony Orchestra. Okay, and there it is. So anytime I get an email, it's going to pop into my TSO email box whenever it contains that message. Okay, and it's going to move the item to that folder. Again, what I did was I found the rule, create a rule function by my search bar, and I've typed in the subject that contains. Maybe I want it from this person. Maybe I want it sent to this person as well. So I have some different options. Sometimes you even have an option of who it's from, where you want it to go based on who it's from. So you do have that option as well on some devices. And what I want to do is I'm just going to click Enhanced Options there. And you can see I've got a few different conditions that I can add it with. I've got a few different conditions if I want to mark off those, if it's marked as sensitive or important, where I want to put it, if there's a blue category, or however I want to do these sort of conditions, I can add that. And then I want to apply the rule with Toronto Symphony. So I'm going to select this. Specific words or phrases in the email, TSO, add that. Okay, and then I can click next. Click next again. What I want to do with these messages, well, I want them to move it to a specific folder. So you kind of have to go through this, but it's a real simple way to just organize. I mean, this is not that the TSO is in spam, but you can see I got a bunch of them that I don't often open because I don't need to know the updated stuff about the TSO. So I'm going to go next, and then I'm going to finish, turn on this rule, and I'm going to click OK. And now I should see that the Toronto Symphony Orchestra, when I open up my inbox here, and I select inbox, oops, and I should be able to see that it has gone into a different inbox for me. And let me just get this. I should be able to see where it went. I should be able to see that new email. And draft. Let me maximize this. I want to thin this out. There it is. Example. TSO. And there it is. So I've created this, but for some reason it hasn't. Did I spell symphony wrong? I might have spelled symphony wrong. But it should start now. It also might be that because it hasn't been sent, that it has not. Yeah, because it is TSO. So maybe because it just hasn't been sent to me yet, that it hasn't connected to those rules. So moving forward, when I get a new email from the TSO, it should automatically be going into this TSO folder, which is nice. So that is kind of bringing us to the end. If you have any questions about setting up your rules, I think it's a great function. It's a really nice way to simplify your inbox. And it's a really easy way that we can, there we go. Easy way that we can really organize what's coming into our inbox. And if we don't want to have things specifically, then we can put them into another folder that it just automatically goes to. So one more time, I just searched in my search function here. I searched for rules, and then I created a new rule. And my new rule was a subject that contains it. And it was from, well, I don't have it from anyone, but it's just a subject line. So if you have that, then you can change your subject and whatever that comes into. You can also select your folders, and you can select your conditions. Okay. So that brings us to the top of the hour, which let me, got a bunch of these windows open. Yeah, the last thing I have here for you is just some keyboard shortcuts. So feel free to take a look at these. I've got ones for PCs, I've got ones for Macs. Feel free to use those as much as you'd like. I think they're great. One thing I might do is I might recommend that you just grab this image and print it out and put it on your desk so you can see them, because they're definitely super helpful and they're definitely useful. So I definitely use these, and I think they're great, so that they're included for you. And just, they might not be useful unless you print them out, in my opinion. So I might recommend that you just quickly print it out and have it next to you, because then you might start thinking, oh, I can go directly here, or I can reply to a message really simply, or so just feel free to check those out. We've got some additional resources for you. We've got the Microsoft Educator community. You can head over there and sign up and obtain sort of badges and get your PD certificates, which here in Ontario, we have to get a certain amount of PD hours. So those count for that, which is great. And then there's just a little tips video there for you to check out. And finally, thanks so much for being here tonight, or today, depending on your time zone. We really appreciate it, or watching the recording. Please let us know at cobblestonescollective.ca/feedback if you have any ideas for ways we can improve, or if you have any suggestions on what we can teach you or run workshops on. We run our workshops based on your feedback. So let us know if you want something more in depth. Let us know if you want something a little bit more basic. We're here to help, and we're here to work with you. Feel free at any point as well to send an email to help@cobblestonecollective.ca. You're part of our educator community now. So at any time, if you have anything ed tech related, we have a great community of educators that are willing to support and help you. No task is too small or too big. Just let us know what we can help you with, and we'll be all hands on deck. So thank you so much for being here. I'm going to pass it off to Katie to sign us off one last time, and have a great evening.
Thank you all so very much. Thank you, Coulter. That was amazing. I cannot tell you, I wrote so many notes. I have so many fun new tips and tricks to go try. So thank you so much for this amazing session. I'm going to go ahead and stop our recording now.